Hello everyone, my name is Bradley. I have a Brad Taste in Music, and today I have a confession to make. Back before AJR became huge, they had that one single that got big, the I'm Ready one. I was still in high school, I heard that song, and you know what? I thought it was good. I thought it was catchy, I liked it. And it was a very catchy tune, well produced, high quality. But yeah, today we're going to be listening to the new AJR album that is Neotheater. Now of course AJR consists of the Three Musketeers, Dumb and Dumber. You know who they are, or you probably don't. I barely do. But let me tell you what I do know about AJR. AJR is quite easily one of the most hated pop groups from many sources. What do I mean by this? Well,
crawled under my skin, annoyed me, not for me. This doesn't feel genuine, intolerable. It's AJR. Could not fathom how they could get more irritating, annoying production. Feast your ears upon the yup. Who the hell told you it was a good idea and would ever sound good? Doesn't make you fucking quirky. It sounds like an annoying piece of shit, and I want to put my ears in a wood chipper, because this album doesn't fare well in any department. From the photo that I took of myself on my first listening session, I just couldn't stop making this face. What the have I gotten myself into? I can't believe I'm actually sitting here right now.
I feel like I'm listening to pop music written by people whose only exposure to the outside world as they were homeschooled from, let's say, age 0 to age 18 was Disney movies. This is the most cliched millennial pop record I've heard this year. Here's a crappy trend in millennial pop music, and here's a crappy trend in millennial pop music.
And I won't sit here acting like I don't have a bias towards AJR, because I do. I literally featured on a John from AJR TV video talking about why he doesn't like AJR.
AJR fanbase, they're vicious. They will do whatever it takes to take down your channel. They just got mine, man.
But that's not why I'm here today. I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to make excuses. My goal with this video is to make the most unbiased review possible. However, Spectrum Pulse came out with one of the most essential reviews of the 21st century, and that of course was his review for AJR's The Click. Now in this review,
we're going to talk about the sophomore album from AJR called The Click. If you're a fan of this band, you're not gonna like what I have to say.
Let's be real, he brutally and savagely murdered AJR at their own feet.
Plasticized skull of a record, comfortably described as everything shrill, twee, and insufferable, horrible millennial slang those crocodile think that we use. This is what Warner Brothers thinks that you like. Give the overstuffed middle management industry hacks another yacht or lump of cocaine. Gigantic, pulsating abomination. The noxiously awful production of a modern Chris Brown album. I don't see anything all that redemptive about AJR. The worst way possible. Parody of awful, overblown indie pop music. I've read Season 5 Glee fanfic with more engaging and fleshed out character and dramatic stakes. This is the guy who gets the participation ribbon and is trying to celebrate him as if he won. If they whine to mommy and daddy that they gotta hang, they'll never get the keys to another fucking Ferrari. An Ouroboros and bullshit and shitty people that reminds me of Drama Alert and Keemstar. Utterly mindless. Sort of paper-thin annoyance that only becomes more excruciating with every single nanosecond of thought that you give it. Worst project by far. The worst album of the 2010s and that I've ever covered on this channel. This record. Everyone at Warner Brothers who bankrolled this. The culture that enabled this and would excuse it. And if you inflict this on anybody, honestly, you too.
Oh my god. The words that came out of this man's mouth. In fact, it was so brutal that Now, did this cause me to be a little biased because he totally brutally destroyed the three boys? Maybe. Maybe it did. Either way, I didn't enjoy that album, and neither did any critic. ARTV didn't like it, Fantano didn't like it, Spectrum Pulse didn't like it, I didn't like it. Nobody liked that album, except for a lot of fans because they've got like over 300 million streams on some of their songs. So, yeah, there's a big disconnect. So maybe us critics have something wrong here. You know, I want to take a look at this new album. Maybe they've improved. I saw this one review recently that made me want to reconsider a lot of things. Not necessarily go back and change my opinion on The Click, because that album was terrible. But this new album, I saw this review that was insanely positive and extremely respectful. PC Power Up, the review is, first of all, let's get the obvious out of the way. This probably appeals to me because the lowest common denominator of pop music appeals to me. I love The Click to a point of where it's one of my favorite albums. I have such a crazy connection to that album, and I was so excited to see what the band would do next. I think this new album is fantastic. The soundscapes and vibe are absolutely great. The instrumentation sounds like something straight out of a Disney film. I know it's always been their vibe, but here's where it really shines. It sounds like a soundtrack to a Broadway show. The vocal quirks of the previous LP were really toned down here, so we don't hear many of those vocal harmonies that everyone seemed to dislike from The Click. AJR's always kind of had their head up their ass when it comes to their musical originality. They seem absolutely oblivious to how pretentious they can sound, and yeah, that being said, this album's original. He or she gave this album a 98 out of 100, which is absolutely insane. But this is one of the most respectable reviews I've seen of really any album that is universally disliked. And because of that, it makes me really want to go into this thing with a different perspective. I'm not just going to go in with wanting to hate this, I'm going to go in wanting to like this. And I'm going to hope that nothing holds me back from that. So, with that being said, no distractions, let's just do this. First track, Next Up Forever. I find it funny that it's like, you know, they seem so adventurous on their last album, and I feel like the insanely negative reception they got leads them to now look so depressed on this new one. I think the aesthetic is kind of unlikable instantly, but I'm not gonna let that stop me from getting into this album. Like, these lyrics are kind of whatever. Your eyes will open, so never close them. Whatever. Okay. Alright. It's not too bad. That's a cool use of the sampler, the strings with the heavy break drums. That's not bad, actually. It's not bad.
I'm kinda scared to drop this album. Let's push it back another week. I wanna be next up forever. Find a way to never hit my peak. I was still a virgin. Time to finally see what sex is like.
Well, I'll say that the lyrics, I don't like them, but something about that vocal performance was nice enough to where you're almost able to completely forget about the lyrics. However, not completely, because the whole I kind of wish I was still a virgin, time to finally see what sex is like line has really no context. I think that the self-awareness about the album, like this, it's kind of like four different ideas just shoved into one little verse that absolutely do not connect, and it's really all over the place. Vocals sounded nice, so you know what? It's a lot better than the first album.
Someday, they'll be talking about me. Right now, they're just walking around me.
That's cool. Yeah, this is actually not that bad at all. This is actually okay. Surprisingly okay. The intro was, I think, kind of annoying, long, lengthy, and unnecessary, but this song sounds really good. The lyrics, at first they were a little shaky, but you know, I do like the line about the imagination, everything is kind of building up this scene, which is what I imagine they're trying to do. So yeah, this is actually kind of cool. I like this. So if you guys are unfamiliar with my channel, usually what would happen is if something really stands out as awful enough to get me offended, then the song's pretty much ruined for me mentally, because it'll take me out of the vibe. This has managed to keep me into that vibe, which is really important. So I'm not just, you know, trying to be nice for the sake of being nice. This has got some good stuff to it. I hate that pitched up vocal though. See, that was unnecessary, and it echoes forever.
I don't think I'm ready yet.
That's ooh. I will say that that's actually a cool throwback to like that first single they had. I don't think I'm ready yet. I don't know if that's a reference to that, but if that is, that's a cool little connection. sounds a little awkward though. Alright, I'm not finishing that. That ending sounds horrendous. Like, oh, those harmonies, that just clashed in such an ugly way. Yeah, no, those sounds just did not mix. There was, it started weak, ended weak, had a good midsection. Is it terrible? No, not at all. It's not terrible. It's actually an okay start to this album. Very okay. It could do without a couple of things. It could do with better lyrics, but you know, an improvement from the last album. I will have a rating scale. If it's bad, we're gonna give it this red trash can right here to represent that it's a complete dump. Alright? So if I don't like a song, give it the red trash can. If I think it's meh, give it the shrug, you know, but if it's good, we're gonna give it the golden sticker. Yeah, the star sticker. Alright? That means you're a good noodle. Alright, you want to be a good noodle. This song, you know, if it didn't have that intro and outro, it might have snuck its way into the good noodle, but because of that, it's obviously not. It's like a low shrug. I wouldn't come back to that song because of how much of it was just taken up with unnecessary nonsense. That is not to say that at least I have a little more hope for this album than what I, you know, went in expecting. Next song, Birthday Party. Oh.
Hospitals got lots of crying kids. A minute ago I did not exist. It's nice to finally meet my relatives. I bet it's always gonna stay this fun. I bet it's easy staying.
This beat literally just turned into stressed out. Like literally dead on. That's the thing is I didn't mention this, but I was getting some 21 Pilots vibes on the last song. This is just a little too much.
Parents always stay in love. Always stay in love.
Why is that mix so loud? Oh, that was an ear sore and a half right there. Song seems to be about, hey, you know, hospitals got a lot of crying kids. He was just born. So this is him just being born. Since it's the beginning of the album, I guess this is like a second kind of a handout of the intro. You know, it's the start of his life. It's ooh, but you know, they could do without all these really obnoxious electronics. Yeah, I'm not really connecting with these lyrics at all, you know. I can't really relate to being 1 year old. I'm more like 6 years old, you know.
Stays that way.
Okay, I like that line. It's been going great. He's hoping that his life stays as good as it is the moment he's conceived. However, I imagine with the tone of this and what's going to happen is it's not. Especially with this album cover, everyone looking gloomy on this sad little... Whatever the... Is that like a synth... Is that what they play all their music on?
My ignorance is always bliss, except ignoring pigment in our skin. I bet my country's nice to immigrants. And that's just...
Ooh. See, my issue is when you have your universe, you're 1 minute old, and then you turn it into some political that doesn't need to be there for the sake of pushing a message. You're automatically isolating an audience. You're taking me out of your vibe. And you're basically being bitter for the sake of being bitter. It just isn't a nice look. Like, it's not even about the message. It's about the fact that he's giving any sort of political message in a song that just does not have that vibe or tone from the start of it, and it's just throwing it in there. Alright, this part sucks. Oh, that song kind of just, you know, as it kept going on, there wasn't much else to say. It's, you know, a lot more politics being thrown in here. I don't know, there's a lot of weird messages being thrown in here. Man, the sound of this thing, I would never come back to this song, honestly. I think it's just messy. It's just really messy. It's not very satisfying, and I don't think that it comes together full circle. Because of that, unfortunately, it's gonna get the red garbage can, alright? Oh, damn, that was sick, and I got that on camera. Next song, 100 Bad Days. I think this was also a single. So I don't know what the hell this album's about so far. That's my issue. It seemed like it was trying to set up a theme with the Neotheater, and now it went to birthday party about getting born. I was like, okay, and then it just went politics, and now it's just going, no one's showing up to my shows. You know, I don't know. There's something about this that doesn't connect. This song does aesthetically sound like the first track though.
100 bad days made 100 good stories. 100 good stories make me interesting at parties. 100 bad days made 100 good stories. 100 good stories make me interesting at parties.
This sound is, I'll just say, this sound is really not for me. It is so overblown and outdated and kind of annoying. I think this chorus, the lyrics are pretty uninteresting and pretty blank, really. I'll just say it is a lot harder pulling things out of this album than it is pulling things out of, say, something like the Tame Impala album I just reviewed, because there's really nothing here going on, at least not of any real importance. It all feels melodramatic up to this point, which I guess Neotheater is a fitting title for something with so much melodrama. I feel like the quality of the vocals has gone down as well from the very first song to where the vocals sounded really good. Here, I just think the melodies sound like some cheap riffing. I'm just not invested. I just don't. That mix is some ass juice, dude. That is not a good mix. That is not a good mix. Oh. Ooh. When I feel like I'm not getting anything more out of this album, I will stop listening. I can't even say anything about it because I pulled nothing out of it. Nothing lyrically out of that was fascinating. Nothing instrumentally that was fascinating. Simply, I just did not enjoy that. Wish I had more to say. Next song, Don't Throw Out My Legos. Okay then. Remember how I said melodrama? That's the other thing, is it feels like it's taking so many ideas from other groups. Like, this sounds like something One Republic would do. I just don't think they do it even close to the level of quality like you would expect from a One Republic smash single. It just sounds really just cheap. It doesn't sound well produced at all. The thing is the sample is so damn loud and out of place and blown out of proportion that it's distracting. I feel like the drums are so quiet. There's no bass. There's actual no bass. It just really hurts my ears. Like, are you telling me this dude's not just ripping off 21 Pilots? That alone makes me want to just make it stop, dude. This... Oh, it's kicking in, dude. That boredom spell, dude. I'm really trying to hang in there, man. But it's so hard to be unbiased and positive when I'm so uninterested in what's happening. Like, I can't even pretend like I hate this, because I don't hate this. I just think it's completely unnecessary and bland and pointless to the point of not even needing to exist. It's so empty and void of anything. It's just how I feel about this right now. I just am desperately wanting to change it to something else. I really want to listen to something else right now.
Don't throw out my Legos. What if I can't let go? What if I come back home?
Oh, like, there's no irony to this. It's just about... There's no deeper message to that. What does Genius say? Lego was founded... Okay, it tells me all about what Lego is. Oh my god, I don't know, dude. Maybe it's about how he still wants to be a kid, so please don't get rid of his childish whatever, but look, they're making me do all the digging. They're not doing any work here. It hurts, man. It's really, really shallow. This is... Oof. That little part, weirdly enough, as soon as that chorus kicked in, it kind of grew on me a little bit. And I think that was actually not a terrible verse. Specifically, you know, saying like, I don't know, it's just a lot of mumbo jumbo, nothing really special. But that part sounded sweet. I thought that the production and the vocals actually kind of mixed away was nicer to the ears.
Don't throw out my Legos at home.
Maybe that's another issue, is they keep repeating the same chorus over and over without really making it in somewhat way interesting. So it just stands out as obnoxiously mediocre. I feel like I'd enjoy this a lot more if I was younger as well. So I definitely see the appeal of this song, and I don't think every part of it's bad, because there was that part in the middle where it did sound sweet and it did sound like things were coming together in a nice little way. However, the final product is way too long, way too tedious, and simply way too uninteresting. I don't feel like I understand any of these guys any better after hearing this song. I understand the whole wanting to be a child, which makes a lot of sense in terms of the sound and aesthetic of this album. So I can appreciate the fact that does make sense. And I do understand the sadness, which also can, you know, looking back at the album cover, there are a lot of things that do make sense of this. However, it's just simply, it's like, for me, like, but yeah, that song was just kind of a snoozer. Next one, Break My Face. And every song kind of does this, where it's like it starts off with this You guys hear that? So it was the simple guitar, trumpets, sub bass, and That's how you start a song right there. Yeah, that's
Right there on the ground, it ain't no bad now. Makes you ugly.
My issue is this is not experimental. This is just mental. This is kind of aesthetic torture. Take example for any song ever that isn't AJR. There's a reason they stick to one sound, because it sounds good. I feel like experimental, you can take it down to its simplest form with the scientific method. The scientific method has a dependent factor, or a dependent variable and an independent variable. So what happens is the independent variable is the item, I guess, in a song that is changed. It is what you say, you know, say you exchange out trap instrumentals for maybe something in a completely different genre. Say you do dance house, and then you try doing something crazy with some dance house beat, and say it's like a rap song, so you're rapping over it instead of a casual trap song. The reason that you do it like that and you experiment with that is because you have the one thing that changes, so you can see how people react to that one change. The dependent variable, of course, being the song, the overall experience, and how people perceive the music. Here, if you change everything and every single thing is an independent variable, so you have 5 different independent variables going on, you're not really running an experiment, and in other ways, it's not experimental in the slightest. It's just a complete mess and a total joke. And that's what this song comes off as. Vocally, it's a 21 Pilots sort of ripoff. The lyrics are really uninteresting, especially with the "Wit doesn't kill you, makes you ugly. Life gives you lemons, at least gives you something." Like it's really blank, it's really bitter, and it's just completely unlikable. It's complete trash. I wish I had something nice to say, but I don't. Turning Out Part 2.
I am not chosen, or that you.
Like, there's so much manipulation on everything. Like, these pianos don't even sound normal. They sound like they have this cut-off loop where the reverb just stops and then restarts, and it's just really unnatural. Nothing about this feels natural or even human. There's something about this that's just extremely void of any emotion.
It's how it feels to be blue.
Is it? You don't sound very sad.
You said you'd love me no matter what. You said you'd love me, is that what I love? All of these choices. I think I probably wasn't in love with you. I think I probably love the idea of you. And though I may be missing the feel of you, I think I probably wasn't in love with you. I wasn't in love with you.
That is the very first part of this album that gave me shivers. Actual shivers. Yeah, legitimately. I really like that because it actually felt genuine. Something about that felt real. And because of that, you can feel that, and this weird understanding and maturity to that chorus that actually feels like there's some heart. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude! If you legitimately capture me into your song to where I'm thinking in my head as I'm listening, wow, this is actually good. This is actually the first song I think I'm going to say that I liked. And then you have some wailing, crying out, your excruciating bullshit in the background that instantly takes me out of the vibe and makes me want to turn it off. That is something. That is something else. You lost me. That one detail was so awful that you just lost me. Wow. I'm offended.
I'm so sorry, yeah, I know.
The vocal manipulation. This song was the best song on the album so far, but that one part was so bad that it almost actually made me want to turn this off. And I can't even explain how disappointed I am because of that, because everything else was pretty good, except for you had a moment that was so irritatingly bad that it pretty much ruined the second half. I think this song, besides that, was good. I think that it had a genuine feeling to it. I think that the sound, counting out the part that was awful, was good. I am conflicted. I will say that song was a shrug. Higher up shrug in the upper area. If it wasn't for that one part, though, it would definitely be the very first golden sticker. It would be the good noodle. But this is going to be the end, of course, of part 1 of this. The thing is usually I would have a guaranteed part 2, but I'll only do a part 2 if you guys want to see it. So if you guys want to see a part 2, let me know what you guys think in the comments of this. And yeah, tell me if you guys want more. Of course, like the video if you liked it and you want to see a part 2 also. That will help tell me if you do. But yeah, this is going to be the first half. I'll just say I'll rate the first half of this album. First 6 tracks I listened to gave me nothing. Besides, of course, Turning Out, where I thought the message of that song was genuinely entertaining and engaging enough to where I kept listening. But besides that, these topics are really uninteresting. I thought the intro had some okay sounds to it, but again, was kind of ruined. In fact, a lot of these songs were ruined by bad decision making. Essentially, I think this thing is slightly better than the Click. This thing is absolutely not for me. But if you enjoy this thing, you'll enjoy it. My score for the first half of this album is a 3- out of 10. All right, believe it or not, that's a lot better than the Click, and that's coming from someone who, yeah, I'm gonna go listen to something else. I love you guys. Peace out. I'm out. My name is Bradley. Subscribe to the channel if you want to see part 2. Let me know what you guys, what else you want to see. Might do some more Tame Impala soon. But yeah, that's the end. Bye.